I seem to have a problem with schedules, don't I? Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pixel Punch, where I tell you my gaming opinions, popular or unpopular. Well, it's fucking October now.
However, when this video goes up, it'll be November, so once again, you were wrong, you stupid little—
However, just because it's October, it doesn't mean I won't put out one last Summerween video, because, well, I worked too goddamn hard on it. Oh, and I can't use the Halloween decorations anymore because, well, they're set up now. Spooky. So without further ado, here are my top 10 unpopular horror gaming opinions. Oh joy. Oh, and one more thing. This list, just my personal opinions. If you don't like them, too bad. Go make your own list. It's fucking video games.
Number 10.
This is kind of a divisive topic since a lot of people love this and a lot of people hate it with a fiery passion. That's right, guys. I'm talking about tank controls. I don't think they're all that bad. Tank controls are now heavily criticized, but it's because it's either A, in a game not designed for tank controls, or B, we've become so accustomed to new controls that tank controls feel quite alien to us. But come on guys, we've gotten some of the best survival horror games from these. Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Alone in the Dark. You're supposed to feel a little restricted. In fact, the only game with tank controls I hate is Overblood. Although, I guess the horror is diminished when you picture a person in real life walking like they're on tank controls. Yeah, that's a bit dumb. Otherwise, they can be fucking great.
Number 9.
Aw, look at this doggo. Isn't this doggo cute? Now imagine if it bit your face off. Yeah, guys, I'm not really into surprise creepy. It's meant to be a contrast to unsettle you, but often they hint the creepy early on and then boom,
You're trapped in digital hell.
it's not scary, it's just, Honestly, the only developers I would say use this trope properly is fucking Nintendo. And they aren't even horror games.
Nintendo games are scarier than horror games.
I want my mommy. You guys remember Earthbound? Where the final boss was a miasma of fetuses? Good times.
Number 8.
I really don't get why this is a bad opinion, but apparently a lot of people don't like action in horror games. I get it, guys. Puzzles are amazing to have in horror games. In fact, I'm an advocate for putting more puzzles into them. But action really isn't all that bad. Some acclaimed games are strictly action horror. Dead Space, Resi 4, Fear, they're all action horror games. The only time it does get bad is when the action takes the limelight and you're not scared whatsoever. That's why Dead Space 3 and Resi 5 and 6 don't work as horror games. They focused way more on the action than the horror. But action in horror games heightens the experience if done right. Silent Hill is the perfect example of this, where the combat is purposefully clunky to mimic the fact that the character you're playing as isn't trained well with weapons. Of course, you can also mess up clunky combat, but any action game can do that. It's a universal flaw. I like puzzles in horror games too, but you do need some kind of combat in horror games to build attention, because without it, you get stuff like
Number 7.
I remember sitting on the school bus in the early 2010s and hearing some unfavorable classmates gossip about what was the scariest horror game ever made. This game turned out to be a gaming trend. I mean Amnesia, The Dark Descent. After seeing some Let's Plays from some YouTubers, I picked up the game and where's the horror? Guys, Amnesia is not scary in the slightest. Well, at least its main campaign. It had the potential to truly be horrifying, but there was so much reading and the encounters with the monsters were so few and far between that it was a very boring experience. And don't get me started on the final boss. Thankfully, the modding community somewhat saved it and showed everyone its promise. Frictional Games also seem to take notes, as Soma is apparently quite an improvement. Overall, Amnesia is just a disappointment and it sucks that it could have been great.
Number 6.
So a lot of you guys might remember a certain video game company that started on top before falling straight to the bottom. Guys, enter Silicon Knights. Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
Silicon Knights have released some of the best games on the market as well as one of the worst selling games on the Xbox 360. The company is most well known, however, for Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. The main gimmick of the game were the sanity effects they implemented, but I'm sorry guys, they've aged poorly. A lot of them do surprisingly still hold up, but the technological ones are practically dead now since no TV looks like this anymore. And some games with sanity effects have improved the gimmick a lot. So in my opinion, Eternal Darkness is not as effective as it used to be. I'm not saying don't buy it, just don't be prepared to be frightened.
Number 5.
Oh man, this is so immersive. I can't wait for this to...
VR is not the future of horror gaming. Has VR come a long way? Yes. Is it a very cool gimmick? Yes. But would I consider it the best option? Fuck no. Besides the
Completely absurd price tag.
VR has not come far enough in my opinion, both physically and mentally, to be considered the best option for gaming. Although we've definitely improved VR, I still find myself getting ill playing it because my brain and body feel completely out of sync. Let's not forget that you can easily hurt yourself by playing horror VR.
Oh my god, my eye is bleeding.
Alright,
okay,
guys.
I cut myself somehow.
On top of that, a lot of VR horror is very samey. Sure, we have games like Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, and Resi 7, but then you also have games like Emily Wants to Play and Five Nights at Freddy's. Although I think VR is cool, we're not quite there yet. Call me when the price tag goes down and the risk of physical harm is minimal.
Number 4.
This point on is what I like to call the controversial area. So, in case you didn't hear it at the beginning of the video, my opinion, which is also code for, please don't kill me.
Oh boy, this is the least controversial of these four, but guys, jump scares are not that bad if done right. Look, a cheap jump scare for no reason, yeah, that's utter bullshit. But if the build up is there and it continues until...
Yeah, it's alright.
I know I just slagged off this franchise, but the very first Five Nights at Freddy's was actually really solid. The reason for this was that you had a reasonable amount of animatronics to look after, you didn't have a lot of things to do besides checking the rooms, and the jump scares were a penalty for not being responsible. The quick jolt made sense because that's what it was meant to be, a quick jolt. Unfortunately, Scott took this the wrong way and it became a jump scare fest until about FNAF 6, I think. What I'm saying is, proper jump scares? Good. Cheap jump scares? Fucking awful.
Number 3.
As many of you know, the Silent Hill series are some of my favorite games. 1 and 3 still managed to scare shit out of me, and most of the following games were valiant efforts. Except for Homecoming, that was a pile of shit. But my opinion about Silent Hill 2 is a bit more controversial. See, I think Silent Hill 2 is a good game, but not a good horror game.
Holy shit, holy shit.
Yeah, I think SH2 is a great psychological drama as it handles the topics of mental health, abuse, and grief quite well. But unlike Silent Hill 1 and 3, I never felt scared during the journey. Psychologically, it was a mind-bending, thoughtful experience, but after that first battle with Pyramid Head, I just felt calm. I'll still play it for the brilliant story and characters, but I'll never play it for the horror.
Number 2.
So does anyone else think that Outlast is an overrated piece of garbage?
Okay, look, Amnesia and Outlast are quite comparable, but the thing is, Amnesia has some redeeming qualities that are quite nice. However, Outlast is just pure shock horror that gets tiring after the first 10 minutes. There are literally 2 scary moments in the game, and they are about 3 minutes apart from each other. After that, how do we scare the player? Make this guy look like a kitty. What about later? Penis.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
It's also just a cluttered mess in terms of story, and I completely forgot what the beginning was after my character's fingers were chopped off. Overall, Outlast is boring, overrated, and uses cheat tactics to shock the players. And Outlast is perfect for this slot because our next section is...
Number 1.
We need to stop exploiting mental illness in horror games. This isn't really a genre-specific opinion, but most of it extends into horror. Ever since Black Christmas in 1974, mental illness has been a common enemy in horror movies, games, and stories. There are other ways to scare the player. We don't need insane asylum patients, we don't need sanity meters, and we shouldn't use it as an indicator for whether you get a good or bad ending. All it does is demonize those with mental health issues and takes us 3 steps back. I've known people with schizophrenia, I've known people with bipolar disorder, and none of them have become psychotic killers or sociopaths. This is why Silent Hill 2 excels where other games do not. While it takes the demons and uses them as weapons, it portrays that as hurting the people from inside. The enemy is not an outward experience, it's an inward aggression. As someone who struggles a lot with depression and anxiety, seeing stuff like this in my favorite genre of games makes me really sad. We have come a lot further with mental health in games, with entries like Celeste and Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice, but we need to apply that same ideology to horror.
So with all that said, that is my top 10 list of unpopular gaming opinions, and it did get a bit more serious towards the end, but sometimes you have to drop the comedy for more important topics. If you're struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, or any of the sort, there are others like you, and don't be afraid to talk to someone. I will also link hotlines down in the description below if you feel like any of these are getting too much for you. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to mash the X button and up, down, left, right, BA, and have an amazing day. Now, if you'll excuse me, things are about to get very historical and very weird.
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching this episode of The Pixel Punch. Since YouTube has been kinda messed up lately, I would like to remind you to hit the notification bell if you subscribe, so that way you won't miss my videos. Love you all, and have an amazing day.
Hello everybody, and welcome to The Pixel Punch, where I tell you my gaming opinions, popular or unpopular. Fuck you! You done? Guys, enter silicon. That's not how you say silicon. So a lot of you guys. Oh. No. Uh-oh. I think one of my dogs has noticed me. I'm okay, buddy. Don't worry. Which is also code for, please don't kill me. He kind of shook his head, so... In case you didn't hear it... Yeah, that was alright. I'll do that take. Really? Guys, this is what I have to put up with in Oregon. Stop being windy.